Ladies and gentlemen, when Mitch Williams had a bad relief performance in Game 4 against the Blue Jays, allowing Toronto to have a big comeback to win 15-14 in Philadelphia, gave up to Joe Carter 3-run home run in that key inning in Game 6 for won Toronto the World Series. You keep on wondering how much was Mitch Williams' pitching style to blame. Well, ladies and gentlemen, all I know, when he pitched with Texas, he pitched with Chicago, where in Chicago he was one of the main reasons he made the 89 playoffs against the Giants, and sure, he gave up a big hit to Will Clark. But when the Wild thing was on, and it's kind of weird, ladies and gentlemen, when Major League came out, the Charlie Sheen character, Vaughn, the big reliever, the ex-con that was their top pitcher for the Cleveland Indians winning team, there was no indication that it was ever going to catch on. But when Mitch Williams, again, through Texas, Chicago, and Philadelphia, the fans really enjoyed his style of play. They enjoyed his presence on the mound, his high fastball, the way he would almost fall off the mound every pitch. Now, what we're talking about today is a fan reaction to Mitch Williams. Now, we saw a lot of people with towels over the head. That was a throwback to when he gave up the big hit to Will Clark, and he had a towel over his head in the dressing room, the dugout, trying to establish what went on. But it's kind of weird about this, ladies and gentlemen. He gave up one of the biggest World Series home runs of all time. And he was raked over the coals by Phillies fans because basically he told in published reports and in live interviews after the game, I'm not going to kill myself over this. It was a tough pitch, but things like this happen. He said I could be digging a ditch. It's true too. And people turn against him about that. Now, as the years have gone on, and there's been different machinations, him and Lenny Dykstra didn't get along. There's been allegations of him losing control at youth baseball tournaments. There was lawsuits against Deadspin and his former employees at Major League Baseball Network. But I tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, the Phillies in Canada are an interesting thing because we like Mitch Williams, and we felt kind of sorry for him because he had that kind of Canadian beer, softball beer player style that a lot of Canadians looked up to. See, the Phillies in Canada have a great connection, not because of Mitch as well. Matt Stairs hit the big home run in 2008 that helped them win the World Series. Phillies had knocked off Montreal in 1980 through Mike Schmidt's big homer. We bet them in Steve Carlton in the 81 playoff, only lose to Monday on Monday. But like I said, Mitch Williams is a throwback to the old ragtag Phillies. Now that 93 team with Dykstra and Eisenreich and Dalton and all the key players, Ricky Jordan, it was really enjoyable to watch. And, they were well coached, well put together, overachievers. Maybe he might be on steroids, maybe not. Like John Kruk said, if I'm on steroids, he said it does nothing for me. But ladies and gentlemen, all I'm going to say, if you go on YouTube and watch the highlights of Game 2 where he saved it for Mulholland, how he was pitching in Game 5, the Blue Jays came back, they were reading the pitches. And the same thing with Carter in the Game 6. But Williams doesn't say this, but I can say this. He was a National League reliever. He could get away with the National League because he only had 8 hitters. The pitcher would help him at the end, or the pinch hitter. In the American League, this type of pitcher wouldn't work. Now you look at Tom Henke and the other big Blue Jay relievers throughout the years. Jordan Romano has the same problem. Not that he pitches the style of Mitch Williams, but on occasion he makes mistakes. Now Williams would come in, 70 to 80% chance he was going to win or save the game, but he's like for every 25 appearances he would blow 5 games, and that's all he had. But the Phillies didn't need to win every night because 95 wins would do it in the National League at the time. But that's why he got bet by Toronto, because the professional hitters on the team, Olerud and White and Alomar and Carter and everybody else, Fernandez, even Alfredo Griffin, could read those pitches. The modern relievers stay on the mound, and that didn't work. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mitch Williams, there's a lot of tape on him through the years. He's done interviews, people talking about him. But the Phillies tied 1-1. I hope Do you reach out to Mitch Williams over the next short while and ask him to throw out the ball or maybe do some commentating for the local radio or TV stations? Because he played a big part in the Phillies, what he called the overachieving year of 93. And if the Blue Jays weren't there, they were going to win the World Series. And some Phillies fans still blame Mitch Williams, but the problem is, without him, you wouldn't have made it. So it's better to get to the dance and step on the person's toes and the last dance or not be there at all. Why did you trade for him? You knew what you were getting from Texas and Chicago. You knew what the mullet was going to do, as we say. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's our latest World Series Baseball podcast. If you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget, if you're cheering for the Phillies or Astros, you're losing your money with me because nobody in Canada gives a shit for any of those teams besides a few 100,000 that remember the Phillies of the Mike Schmidt era and remember the Astros of the Nolan Ryan era. Nobody in Canada likes Altuve, the world star of the midget, and I'm sure people don't like Bryce Harper because we got Vladimir Guerrero. What would we be doing cheering Bryce Harper in? He's not the real phenom. Vladdy Jr. is the real phenom.